Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 3 in my new Devlog series where I build a comic collaboration tool. But before we get into the episode, I wanted to take a moment and show you a short video of the walk that me and my partner take every day around the little lake near our home. During this time, when a large number of us find ourselves locked in our homes, you have to take advantage of that 1 hour exercise the government has allowed us to take. We try to do this in a safe way by only venturing in walking distance of our home, luckily to this little lake that's around our house, and staying far away from other individuals whom are also outside walking. And if we do come across people, we try to just, take 2 meters apart, and it's quite quiet. This past Wednesday I was officially made furloughed by my employer, which means that for the next 2 months I'll not be working for my employer, but instead receiving some money from the government to subside 80% of my wages. This has its merits and disadvantages. The disadvantages being I will not be part of the team taking the company's product to its first major trial and won't be working alongside some great individuals for this period. However, on the upside, it means I can spend a lot more time developing out this software. So I've already set myself the goal of having a first release at the end of these 2 months and a first beta release at the end of April. So if you're interested in being part of that release, please see in the link in the description about joining the beta team, and I can't wait for you to start using this product. In the meantime, have a quick look at this video and then I'll jump straight into the devlog. There will be a timestamp in the description if you just want to skip the whole video and go straight to the devlog. So, see you in a second. I hope you enjoyed that little walk that we do. I absolutely love it. And now into the devlog. This week has had 2 major points of focus. The first was to build out the first version of the project's ticket board, as you can see on screen. We have our first version working, and let me just take you through what you can do so far. As you can see, there is a set of columns which can be defined yourself. At the moment, if you were to go to board settings up in this top right, you'll get a list of the categories there are. You can't currently change the names, that's something I'm going to be working on, but you can delete a column and you can also add a column, so new, and then when you go back here you'll see that now that other one's gone and there's new at the end. You can also drag and drop your tickets across. You can also delete a ticket and you can add a ticket. And for now that's kind of done for the first version anyway. There are a few improvements I want to do. Something I'm working on at the moment is that when you click into here you'll edit and it will save. It doesn't save at the moment, so you can change the title. I also want to do the same for the columns so that you can change the column names. And also the other thing I'd like to do is allow you to interact with these differently. So at the moment you can only just have a name, but eventually I want you to be able to click these, have some descriptions, attach images to them and assign people to them, which doesn't happen at the moment. The next thing I wanted to do, now that the product started moving away from the proof of concept stage into a more full-fledged piece of software, was to start cleaning up some areas of code and get unit tests in place. What I've done in the project is set up within the modules folder, which contains all of our modules in the project, is start to add these test folders, and in the test folders I'm using Jest test framework. And as you can see here, this is a very simple test just to prove the concepts of using it, because I'd never used Jest before, and using Vue alongside it. Obviously we just set up that it's a login view, we shallow mount the login actual view, and then I've just done some simple tests. It should render successfully. It has an input field and a password input field, and I'm going to start doing that across the board for the whole project. This enables me to make sure that I have very good tests, because what I found is as I keep refactoring stuff, I keep breaking stuff, and I'd like to see immediately where I'm breaking stuff. Part of that cleanup is also moving away from this single database file I have. So currently in my folder I have a DB service which just contains all the functions to do with interacting with the Firebase server. Now there's two ways to interact with the server. There's the receiving of data and there's the sending of data. I don't mind the receiving of data to be read-only, because you can't break anything as long as you're authenticated to get that data, which you can only get if you are authenticated. But I want you to not be able to write to the database unless certain things happen, and in some cases, for example, when you're creating a new project, you want all the subsequent tables associated made at the same time. This means when you're doing the project board, you might also get the board and a basic script, all that kind of stuff set up. And in order to facilitate that, I started looking into Google's Firebase Cloud Functions. After a little look over how Cloud Functions work on Google, I looked around for a video series I could watch, as I'm quite a visual learner, and came across this very good series on the NetNinja YouTube channel called Firebase Cloud Functions. I'm going to link to that in the description, and if you are looking at starting to use Firebase Cloud Functions, I highly recommend this series, and I'll leave a link in the video description. With the cloud setup now in place, I started to build out some basic functions. As you can see up in my left hand corner, I've got another folder called Functions, and at the moment I've just got three groups, user, project and board. This user one actually comes from following the instructions in that YouTube series, because it tells you stuff that you can do when you're listening for new documents that are created. For example, when a new user is signed up, I can listen for this trigger called onCreate within the user authentication system, so that when a new user is created in the backend, I run this command. And what I'm doing here is I'm just creating another collection called users and associating that user ID as the document ID, and then just giving it some extra variables. This is because in Firebase, in the user storage database, you can't actually add any more attributes, so this is a way of doing that. So for example, for the first thing, I'm just giving access level 1, and I'm going to be starting to use this in various ways, where you can be an admin to look at other projects and fix things, and the subscription levels, stuff like that. So I needed to get that in place. The second function I did was deleting, so that you can just, when a user is deleted, it also goes and deletes that extra document we created. And again, I've started doing other things like updating a board so that you can update the board data. I've added so that you can create a new project. As you can see, when you create a new project, it not only creates that project, it will also make a board associated with that project, and of course allowing you to delete a project. And you can only, the reason why this one was important was because I started to build up a lot of debt in the database. So when you're uploading stuff within a project, your scripts, your boards, your tickets, your images, they are all existing, but when you deleted a project, it never physically deleted all those items. So what I've started to do here is started to delete stuff that is associated with that project. So for example, it gets the project, it removes all the images, it deletes that project, then it deletes all the boards related to that project and deletes all the scripts to that project. This was quite vital and I needed to get that done, so I'm happy that's in place now. But where does that leave next week? Next week is going to be focused on one of two things. Haven't 100% decided, but I will be streaming next week, and I'll either be taking on creating the new chat system. So obviously when you're working on projects, you want to chat together, or secondly, the uploading of images, because important part of this is that as you're going through creating your comic, you can upload letters, pages, colored pages, inked pages, just pencil pages, and people can comment on them and talk about them. So not sure which one of them I want to do, but again, as I said at the beginning of this video, I'm really starting to look for people that want to start beta testing some of this stuff at the end of the month, so please look at the link in the description, and can't wait for that. Until next week, thanks again for joining. Hopefully the little video at the beginning was quite fun for you. If not, just let me know and I'll remove them from the video from now on. Just wanted to share a little bit of life in our lockdown. Please comment and like the video. It helps get this video to more people who are searching for devlogs, and of course subscribe so you get the latest update whenever I release one. And until next time, thank you very much guys. Goodbye.